All right, Mr. Weiss here. This is our Google drawing for a dinosaur. A couple things to keep in mind before we get going on this. Couple of shortcuts, right? So if I click on a shape and I want to copy it, because I want two of them, something like these yellow ovals over here, I can press the control button, CTRL button. It's normally found by your space bar. I can press the control and then the letter C at the same time, but I have to click on the object first. I want to copy, control C, and then when I press control, the same CTRL button with V, the letter V as in Victor, I get a copy of that, right? The other shortcut that we're going to be doing is order. That would be the control button again, and then arrows up for things to come in front, arrows down for things to go back behind. In our toolbar here, we'll be using that shapes a whole bunch, and then some of those fill colors. So I'm gonna go through this step by step real quick, put this together. Remember to pause video, go back if you need to, watch the step again and again, and then you can build your own dinosaur. So I'm gonna go in shapes, and the first shape I'm gonna take here is what's called the chord. I can grab that, and remember, if you're using your trackpad or a mouse, you either press the mouse's left button or you're gonna press your trackpad, press that, and then drag it out. It's gonna take some practice to get that so it feels comfortable. I just use the trackpad here on the computer. Otherwise, if I use the mouse, it's the same thing, but a bit easier. So I build my shape. I'm gonna go up top here and grab that, holding that down, and then I can rotate it so my first shape has the flat part on the bottom. Now, when I have that shape clicked on, I can go up here to where that can of paint spilling and fill color. I chose to do kind of a darker green. If you want to do a different color for your dinosaur, that's certainly fine. So that was that first step I did there. I'm gonna go ahead and put that back into the kind of the middle of my drawing here. Next step is I'm gonna go into the oval here. I'm gonna make an oval the same way. And this one's easier to get color first. So if I put the color I want, this is a different color, do the copy and paste. So I'm gonna control C while I've clicked on that, and then V, see how it gives me another one? And I wanna do, actually, so I have 4 of these. So I would press it so that I have 4 of them. I will go ahead and erase those. And then what I can do is go ahead and start putting these how I want them. And then you'll notice after I copied and pasted that last one, what I did for this last, which is gonna be the head, is I just went and grabbed it from the end and I pulled it out so that it was longer. It's a longer oval. If you want them to be closer together, I will let you fix that. If you're a perfectionist, go for it as much as you want. So tiny little circle is the next step, and I made it yellow here, right? So I went into shapes, grabbed the circle, made a really small one, filled it in yellow. Easiest thing to do, again, when you have small shapes, is to click off of it first, then come back over it and grab it. Otherwise, again, what happens sometimes is when I try to grab it here is I pull it out and then then I've got a really long eye like that. I'm gonna undo that though. This for my mouth, because he's a nice dinosaur, is the shape up here, and it's just that arc. If I pull it out, right, I can make that arc. That's a big one to show you, and then I just rotated it. Okay, for my tail, I just used a rectangle. You can pull that out. Actually, in this one, I think I used a little bit different of a shape, and I went with one like that. Either one will work. I filled that in color, the same color as I did my neck. And again, you're just gonna rotate that shape. For the next one, next step is I created a right triangle. Here I have a right triangle, and here I have a triangle. You'll notice that it has a square angle in there. So what I did is I created that, made it pretty long. Oops. See, trackpad's difficult. Absolutely, it's difficult. Rotate it. If yours ends up looking like that, if you want it to go the other way, you can do things like that, right? That's how that one is, that look there. Okay. And then I filled that in the body color. Next step is going to take some copying and pasting again. I just made an oval, filled it in a yellow color, copy and pasted it so that I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 of them. Depends on how big your body of your dinosaur is, but this gives it kind of a cool little cartoony look to it. I don't think cartoony is a word. Probably not. Put those around. And then I just created a square using that rectangle. I'm realizing now I could have even used that rounded rectangle, maybe give it just a little bit different look, right? Filling that in, same color as my tail and my head and neck, then doing that Control C, Control V. And then setting it in. You probably noticed by now, Google Drawings will give you a red line, right? That is a helpful guide on how you want to get things lined up or centered, all sorts of things you can do with that red line. I'm gonna go ahead and delete those other ones because I think I like the rounded look better. Now here's a trick is, let's say I want to move my entire dinosaur, right? I can act like I'm building a big square over every shape I built. And just like before, with any shape, I can resize it, I can make it bigger, I can make it smaller. I could Control C, Control V, copy and paste, and now I have 2 of them. That sometimes gets difficult though. If I click off of it, now those are all overlapping and it's hard to grab it. So I'm gonna go up to undo, okay? If I wanted to do that. I could even, if I have the whole thing, I could rotate them and maybe have them facing in a different angle. I'm gonna undo that though too. Last thing I wanna show you is maybe I want to have a background here. That is where we're gonna do that order. I'm gonna search the web. I wanna put my dinosaur, let's see here, in the forest. I'm gonna go to forest background. Ooh, that one's cool. Click on that. Go ahead and click insert. Move my picture back over as it comes in. But oh no, since the picture is the last thing I did, it's in front. So I can go Control and then arrow backwards, or arrow down, excuse me. And you'll see each thing I did, it goes behind it until I'm all the way to the back. And then I'm just gonna make my picture fill up the whole thing. Whoops. In our computer lab, we have the mouse, which makes it so much more simple than if I'm using that trackpad, right? You end up like clicking down and then moving the one finger at the same time. If I decide here I want to move my dinosaur, I actually have to take the picture off, do that where I select the entire dinosaur, then I can move them down or make them larger, and then come back, grab my picture, and put the picture where I want it to be. There you go. There's your dinosaur. Love to see images, pictures of this. Get creative on where you put your dinosaur. I'd love to see that. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.